Imagine a young professional unlocks the door to a cramped one bedroom flat. The rent takes up nearly half his salary, the deposit wiped out his savings, and coming to the food cost, well, nowadays it feels more like eating money when he's thinking about ordering food. And as he sits on the floor eating dinner out of a takeout box, he wonders quietly, is this really worth it? Let's imagine another person scrolling endlessly on a real estate app, prices climbing up every month, rent shooting up faster than his paychecks can catch. He closes the app, exhales deeply, and instead of searching for flat, he starts searching for something else, a companionship. But here's the twist. Sometimes that companionship isn't just about love. Sometimes it's about survival. And that's where a strange little term comes into play. Hobosexuality.
This is business.
At first, it sounds almost like a joke, doesn't it? A cheeky phrase made up on the internet. But underneath, it hides something very real. People entering into relationships not for romance, but for shelter. Not for connections, but for rent relief. Let's take Ankita's story. An independent, ambitious, successful young woman. She thought she had found love. Her partner seemed attentive, warm, eager to move in together. It felt romantic. We were inseparable, she recalls. But over time, of course, the cracks appeared. The bills, always hers. The rent, always hers too. His contribution, you ask? Walking the dog sometimes, cooking some occasional meal, and pretty much nothing else. She realized painfully that she wasn't in a partnership. She was just running a shelter for him. Stories like Ankita's aren't rare. In fact, they are quietly multiplying in urban cities as we speak. And it's not hard to see why. Look at the numbers. A Deloitte survey shows more than half of millennials and Gen Zs in 2025 live paycheck to paycheck. In urban cities, rents alone eats up to 40% of the income for a space barely bigger than a shoebox. Now mix in the cultural factors as well. The pressure to settle down before you are 30. The idea that struggle makes love more meaningful. Well, together they form the perfect storm where homosexuality doesn't just survive, it thrives. And yet, here's the thing, it doesn't always start with a malicious plan. For some, moving in together early does make sense. It saves money, it reduces loneliness, sometimes it even strengthens the bond. But when the truth is hidden, when affection becomes a disguise for dependency, that's when it turns toxic. Because what looks like love is actually lease in disguise. So, how do you protect yourself from this rising trend? We'll start with the simplest test. Slow down. When someone is desperate to move in after a handful of dates, pause. Because real love doesn't need speed, it needs depth. You don't truly know someone until you've seen them on their worst days, not just their best ones. And then talk about money, who pays what and how. Because love can survive arguments, bad haircuts, even burnt food, but it rarely survives resentment over unpaid rent. Look for patterns, not promises. Anybody can cook dinner once and call it contribution. Remember this, a relationship should be a choice, not a lifeline. But let's step back for a moment. Because homosexuality isn't just about dating. It's a mirror held up to the society we live in right now. To skyrocketing housing cost, to the loneliness of city life, to the economic uncertainty faced by an entire generation. At the end of the day, homosexuality sits at the intersection of love, survival, and wealth. And while sometimes it can create stable, even happy arrangements, it also has the power to drain both hearts and wallets. So the next time your romantic life feels like it's moving too fast, ask yourself, is it romance or just rent?